Okay. Here we go. Welcome in.
Hi.
I've lost my sketch. There we go. Okay. Welcome back, everybody. What day is it? It's Wednesday.
It's Wednesday, yeah.
It is Wednesday. Okay.
I had to think for way too long on that question.
Mm-hmm.
What date is it?
Hope everybody had a good 4th of July. Klepto Cabin, welcome in.
My 4th of July was surprisingly quiet, even by my standards.
You didn't have the entire city just launching fireworks everywhere?
Didn't sound like it.
Weird.
But my city has become increasingly restrictive about fireworks because so many wildfires have happened in my state over the last 30 years because of stupid people who were playing with fireworks that they should never have been allowed to have.
I guess maybe Utah doesn't have the access that Washington and Idaho do to just super illegal fireworks.
The local studio does usually put on a really big fireworks display, but I did not hear it this year. Might be because I went to bed early.
Gotcha. My mic is picking up my fan and AC, which I cannot help today because I will die otherwise. So,
yeah.
Fortunately, there will be some background noise today. You missed your town show. Yes, Oliver, welcome in. Yeah, I went out to what? Southern Washington? Western Washington? I don't know where the hell I am anymore. And we were on the Columbia River, and it was just fireworks from the entire skyline, just left to right. Nothing but fireworks going off. It was crazy. Somebody across the street from the house we were at was launching them up over the house, and a whole bunch of them were just like bouncing off the roof. And it's like, hey, asshole, stop. I'm drawing on the background layer.
Nice.
I just now realized. So hold on 1 second. We can fix this.
Hello?
Hey.
Hey.
Welcome in.
Here for a stream.
You are. It's been a while.
I mean, it's only been a week, but it feels like it's been longer.
Yeah. Whoa, everything just went green.
Yeah, I have to rebuild the, hold on.
No worries.
I'll have to do this in Photoshop after the fact, but... there? That's pretty close. We'll go with that. And then lock the layer so I don't draw on it. There seems to be far less interest in talking about the 4th of July, at least as far as I saw. That's interesting. I don't know what that means. English people receive their fair share of mocking for the 4th. I guess it's deserved. Yeah. Yep.
Maybe because of how toxic our country is politically right now, nobody feels like celebrating.
Yeah, what was the last thing the guy said? Like last week it was like, oh yeah, no, we're in another revolution. It's like, who the fuck are you, and why do you get to decide that? Like, just sit down, be quiet, go away. Like it's like idiots. All right, so that was the last of the political talk. But I hope everybody had a safe 4th of July. Didn't blow anything up.
Didn't burn anything down.
Yeah.
And got to have fun in a non-stressful environment with family and friends.
I made a cornhole board and didn't play any cornhole, so that's what
I made so many of those my freshman year in high school.
Yeah.
We, like, my ag class basically used, well, taking us to FFA, showing my very rural roots here by saying FFA.
I know what FFA is. I skipped that class. I didn't take it.
Yeah, good for you. Good for you. I took it because I needed an elective, and so basically they used making cornhole boards as like a fundraiser, and so we probably made like 100 or more that year.
Back when wood was cheap.
Yeah.
You got kicked out of your FFA? Were you that kid in the back making knives on the grinder?
Oh no, I joined for a year, then just never went back.
Sorry, I was talking about chat.
Oh.
Klepto Kevin says they got kicked out. Okay, I think I can draw faces now. Still not great with hair. We'll figure that out as we go.
Heard voices.
Yeah, that was weird.
that was a commercial coming through from my laptop. Sorry.
Oh.
You got kicked out of your family's fireworks show. Gotcha.
Damn it. What has happened? All of my proportions are so off.
Okay, let's draw a rugby. And let's get into it. Yeah, that's why I drew a face, because it's like, I don't know, I feel like I haven't drawn in a while. The last few things I've drawn have been like bugs.
Yeah.
Bugs and weird
Yep.
things.
All the bugs.
Before the stream started, I did a wireframe figure to, and then measured the heads to see how I'm doing.
I've never done that well. Like, all of my characters are superhero proportioned.
Yeah. I'm sitting squarely at 7.5 heads, which is about 1 head over. Which is better than I thought. I expected I was going to be 8.5 heads, which is Superman proportions if you get beefy enough in the shoulders. But like,
1,
still...
2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, 7. Oh, looks like I'm doing all right.
You're doing okay.
Doing okay. I got kicked out because apparently I was being too reckless. I mean, yeah, danger zone. Fireworks are dangerous.
Gotta respect the things that go boom.
All right. It's like 6 people have posted this Kermit thing. I will watch it.
This is the first time I've seen it.
Yeah, the Guy Fawkes Day seems strange to me, so I'm sure everybody in Britain doesn't understand 4th of July either. So, it is what it is.
Why would the British understand us celebrating the beginning of the fall of the British Empire?
That's what I'm saying.
Probably wasn't. Yeah. Probably wasn't even really the beginning. I'm sure they were destabilizing before us. We were just one of the big indicators that shit was going sideways.
Alright, I'm rolling some dice. Here we go. Taxes, man.
Yep.
13. An Eldrin, whichever season, fiend warlock that loves summoning devils. Alright. A devil warlock. Hit devil warlock. For those of you who don't know what's going on, I've lost my page again. We have a list of all the things people have suggested throughout the week, and we're going to draw some of them by rolling dice, and the dice decide what we draw. So that's where we're at. If you've not made a suggestion you'd like to put it on the list, you're very welcome to. Yeah, when I was a kid, I was big into like smoke bombs and doing silly things with Whistling Pete's. There were a handful of times I got my hands on like firecrackers and stuff, but can't buy them anymore. So, but they were fun. They're just very dangerous.
We used to play hot potato with those the spinning flowers.
Yeah.
Which was an incredibly stupid thing for us to do. You should not be juggling lit fireworks of any kind.
Yep. Oh, hot potato. I was like, we used to jump over them. Like, kick them around, kick them at each other.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Hot potato's probably worse. Alright, Eldrin Warlock. We're gonna go more purple this time. No, we're going to start with a shape. We're going to start with a shape, and then we're going to go from there. Fiendish, so I maybe want tall. Maybe we'll do like a tall shape here. Do you think she should have horns?
As an Eladrin?
Yeah. I mean, if you're a fiend warlock, I feel like you gotta get a little fiendish.
Yeah.
Maybe make it like a crown. I think the crowns are always cool on the Eldrin, if you have like winter or summer.
Yeah.
Is Kleptozad already on the list, or do you want me to add that to a list? Add to it. Okay, I can do that. Did we lose Corvus?
Maybe.
I haven't heard anything from
Hello?
him. There you go.
Hello? Yeah. If you've said anything, we haven't heard you.
I don't think so.
Okay. I don't know what I've done, but I don't like it, so we're gonna start over.
Yep. Part of me wonders if I forgot how to draw with a round brush, which is not good because it's a default.
Have you not been drawing with a round brush?
No, I've been drawing with a charcoal textured chisel.
I think those exist in this. Making a tiefling of Mammon? Gotcha. Norman, hello.
Last time I looked for one of those, it was not good.
Overexcited Kotoa Warlock. Okay, let's go on the list. Paste. Man, I don't understand YouTube. Sometimes it posts white and sometimes it posts black, and I don't know why. Like, there's no foreseeable difference in what I'm doing.
Yeah.
I have a whole bunch of projects to work on for the Sagas project. A whole bunch of pictures to draw. So I'll probably be trying to do those on Tuesdays and Thursdays on Twitch. Just as a heads up of like, hey, stuff we're doing this month. So I have a whole bunch of those. And then beyond that, I really want to try to get more Why You Should Play videos out. But the problem is they're just not... Seems like... excuse me, I got a frog in my throat. Seems like shorts is kind of the only thing YouTube is doing these days. So, I don't know. We'll find out. We'll try one more and we'll see if it picks up. If not, I might just have to change the way my content is derived. But the shorts are going okay. If you like more long-form content, please let me know. I mean, I'm newer, but if the streams keep happening, I'm glad I pop in. Yeah, people like the streams too. The live streams, I think, are good.
Yeah, I mean, we still get people showing up, still asking us to draw stuff, so...
If you'd like there to not be ads, feel free to sponsor an episode with a super chat. We need to do a few days where we just draw stuff.
Yeah.
Like, I want to get different noses. I want to get better at eyebrows. I want to get better at hair. The only way to do that is to draw it. Do some studies.
Do some hands, do some Spider-Man poses.
Mm-hmm.
I almost said do another Frazetta Friday, except that last time it was impossible to find a Frazetta that was TOS.
Yeah. Okay. I have my base Eldred now. What makes an Eldrin Warlock, especially a Fiend Warlock? Ooh, I have an idea. I'm struggling today. I got hiccups. I got frogs in my throat. There's so much pollen in the air.
I'm sorry. I'm doing pretty good. It's finally the temperature where I can enjoy wearing my preferred amount of clothing.
You're the devil. It was like 90 something here yesterday, and it was like 80 in the house. It's too hot. Just too hot. Which I know that sounds stupid, but I went to Southern Washington, where it was I think like 105, and I was totally fine outside. Like, it's 100% the humidity here.
Humidity.
Yeah.
Yep.
Being at sea level and next to the sound is just, it sucks. It really sucks. The funniest part is like, sometimes I'll go and I'll open a window or open a door, and it's like 85 outside, but only 80 in the house. But it's just so stifling in the house that it's like, nope, I gotta air it out. I gotta air out the house. Try again. Because it's just muggy and awful. So.
I think Corvus is dealing with a similar problem in the south.
100%. I am not alone in this.
And if temperatures continue to rise in northwestern Europe, Britain will have a similar thing to deal with soon. Hello, you back, Corvus?
Hello?
I hear the clicks.
Yes.
If you would like to donate to Corvus's new microphone fund, please let me know.
Seriously, like, I would appreciate it.
We need like $60 for a Yeti.
Probably can't even use a Yeti for my current setup.
Yeah, it might not have an extra USB plug-in. Okay, fiendish. So we're gonna darken the eyes a little bit. So if you're a demon
just
worshiper,
go for like a kiss groupie.
Okay. We'll go real.
Bleeding
real
eye makeup, spiked collar, spiked ear studs.
Get some Primus going on there. A little bit of the.
Sure.
What the hell is the? That's not right.
Cenobite?
Is it Cenobite?
The Hellraiser?
Yeah.
Demons? Yeah.
I was thinking of cinephile, which is like someone that loves movies. And I'm like, that's not it. I also make a changeling that's actually just a mimic. I might also make a changeling that's actually just a mimic. Klepto, you're new here, so I won't begrudge your idea. I have had many words about changelings and mimics. Go watch my videos on them.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would love to see somebody play a mimic. I have not yet done it. I want to. I probably will in the future. But if you're gonna play a changeling, just play a changeling. They're awesome. Like play a doppelganger. Really fun. Or play a mimic, yeah. But I don't think mimics should be people. That's kind of my big argument. I was watching playing Final Fantasy or something.
No, playing my game Europa modded.
Ah.
I'm playing an orc tribe underground, and I got attacked by this other tribe, but they couldn't do anything to me other than just wreck my shit.
Funny. Apparently the new.
So I finally caught up to them.
Apparently the new 5e orcs are Mexican inspired.
Yeah.
And it's great. I love it, and they look awesome. But I keep getting.
Yes.
I keep getting. There's a. Oh, what's his name? I can't remember his name. There's a YouTuber and TikToker that I follow that has been like going off about it, of just like loving the mustaches and stuff. And it's like, yeah, they look awesome. So
I've been trying not to follow official WotC stuff, so I was not aware. But that does explain the one short that I saw of a guy responding to like a comment on one of his videos that was like, "Shouldn't you be upset about this? Isn't this racist?" And then he was like, I think it was some of that orc art with the like stereotypical Hispanic mustaches, uh, and him just like being super happy and excited, and like
I do think, yeah.
it was very funny.
I mean, I think there's the on that note, like, you can have things be representative of things in our world. It's just how you do it, and you have to be respectful about it.
Yeah.
And that's the argument that I think a lot of people skip over. Which is, I think, also the argument for, like, the hypersensitive, like, college lefty activists that just, like mad about everything. Like, that's the stereotype of it. It's because, like, yeah, you don't want that. you want to be respectful and nice to everybody. And neither far side does that well. So.
Yeah, exactly. There is nothing wrong with playing a little bit with cultural identity as long as you're not being derogatory about it, right? Because as long as we're not saying orcs are default evil and they represent Mexico.
Yeah. I was gonna make
all orcs are now slavers and drug dealers. Nope.
Yeah. I was gonna make a mimic that makes the party hunk. He's a changeling, but the entire time it's just a mimic. Also, dude, you're talking about, I'm pretty sure, is Dwarven Dad. Yeah, it is Dwarven Dad. You're right. I think it is. Think, not hunk. Okay. Make the party think he's a changeling. Yeah, like I said, I don't want to talk down. If you want to do this idea. Have fun with it. If your DM's cool with it, awesome. No shade. For me, like, I like that mimics should be closer to slimes. And while there are some intelligent mimics, I think fundamentally making them people is it changes kind of what they are a little too much. And so I generally don't like it. I like that mimics are static. They're objects, disguise wise, and that they are like hyper ambush predators. And as soon as they start moving around, then they're no longer mimics to me. They're just I don't know, Ublix or something. Which apparently, I didn't know this because people called me out on it when I started trash talking Ublix on one of the shorts. Apparently the Ublix was made as a like Make-A-Wish thing that I had no idea about, and I was like, I feel a little bad about that, but I still don't like the idea. So it's a little strange. But apparently they went and talked to this kid that was in the Make-A-Wish Foundation, and in a day came up with the idea, and I was like, that's cool. I'm glad they did something like that. My DM is my mom, and she'll be fine with it. There you go. Then yeah, no. I don't have any notes then. Yeah.
If as long as it works for your table.
Yep.
Just be aware that it's not going to work. Not necessarily going to work broadly for everyone's table.
It's the same thing with like if you want to play a gelatinous cube, right? Like, it's fine to play a gelatinous cube, but then as soon as you're like, oh, and so I morph myself into a human, so I look like a human, it's like, then you're not playing a gelatinous cube anymore. You're just a human. You're a human that can squish around. So, like, I think there have to be some limitations on that kind of stuff. Otherwise, same thing with changelings. Like, if you can change from a changeling to a bugbear and have all the bugbear powers, then you're not a changeling anymore. You're just all creatures, and it's not as fun. So, I'm always hesitant about things that become things. Or things that appear to be things that aren't things, because then nothing is anything.
Yeah. Polymorph effects are really, really hard to deal with and balance well.
Yeah.
As the person who wants to get rid of all the classes.
I never said that. Never said that.
Still gonna turn to stuff, not people. Okay. Good. That's cool. I like that. I had a couple people be like, "Oh, I'm gonna be a mimic, and I'm just gonna turn into like really powerful weapons." It's like, if someone swings you at something, like, you're gonna get hurt.
Yeah.
Like, you gotta be careful.
You can look like a really powerful weapon. Doesn't mean you are one.
Yeah. We were watching the new X-Men. The new old X-Men cartoon, I guess. And something that I thought was interesting is Morph kept turning into mutants and then using their powers, and it's just like, is that a Morph thing? Can Morph do that?
I didn't think you could.
Because like Mystique can turn into things, but it's just on a visual level, right? Like,
yeah, it's skin deep.
Yeah. My favorite example of that is like her turning into Wolverine and then clashing claws and getting the claws cut off, and her just like, ah! It's like, yeah, you can't turn into adamantine. Like, that's not how that works. So if Morph can do that, holy crap! Morph is way more powerful than I thought.
Yeah, that puts him at Omega level mutant.
Mm-hmm. But maybe that's why he kind of didn't really exist in the old cartoon, because he was just too powerful of a thing. Because a lot of the stuff was like, oh no, we ran into this mutant. How are we going to deal with it? It's like, well, I'll just turn into them and then completely counter them. But at the same time, he didn't turn into Magneto, and that was kind of a plot point too. So I don't know. I think it was just Morph always becomes a gag, which is kind of the bummer part for me.
Yeah.
So I'm a little on the fence about it. Which, once again, same thing. Like once something is everything, then nothing means anything. So I'm very much. I generally just try to stay away from things that change into everything else. I'm pretty sure I went to college with this Eldrin.
I'm pretty sure my drawing skills are regressing.
Hey, we took like 4 weeks off, so. It's a muscle. You gotta flex it.
I suppose that's fair.
I've once again escaped the folly of having to draw clothes. So, go me.
Congratulations.
Yeah, I think I'm going to give her a big collar, because that feels very infernal to me. And I think we're going to call it. Oh, that's the problem. Like, whenever you have a big collar like this, you can't have long hair. It just looks weird. Like tucking your hair into your shirt. I was talking to somebody about that. I don't know if that was an anecdote or something I heard from one of my friends. I think it might have been a family member. Talking about this guy he knew that always wore... Oh, it was my dad. I think my dad was telling this story. When he was a repairman, like, they always had to dress up really nice, and they always wore ties and suits and stuff. And he knew this guy that always had a baseball cap on. And he never really understood why. And then he discovered one day that he had really long hair, and he would just tuck it into the back of his shirt. And so he took his hat off one day and like pulled his hair out, and he just had like hip length hair, and he's like, holy crap. Gotta hide it. Just gotta hide it. Alright, I think I'm done with this one. Some of those fiends. Maybe we'll put some, like, more cryptic runes around her neck or something. Okay. Cool. That one's done. Let's move on to the next one. Oh. 4. A half man, brown bear cooking pizza. Half man, half brown bear cooking pizza. Okay. A werebear cook. It's been so hot, and I've been looking at like cooler bags and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Because I've been drove out into the desert.
Yeah.
And like, if you go to Amazon, ice packs for coolers are like $20, and I'm like, yeah, I'm not paying for that. That's stupid. I started looking online, like, how do you make your own ice packs? And there's just like a plethora of hot garbage for suggesting on how to make ice packs. Are Kythons, are you talking about the chain things? Or is that something different? Is that not from D&D? I will have to look it up. Kytons are the chain things. I don't know where the H is coming from, I don't think.
Oh, maybe just a typo. Yeah, that's just like the weird name for chain devils.
Chain devils? That's what I thought.
Yep. Hence why Pathfinder no longer calls their chain devils, or the weird Cenobite people, Kytons anymore.
What do they call them now? Chain devils?
No, Volstrucks.
No, okay.
Something like that. Some weird made-up German word. It sounds very German, like.
Alright, that's enough of my warm-up.
Anyways, ice packs.
Yes.
I think I'm just going to start freezing water bottles. But that's what my parents used to do back in the day.
Yeah.
But I've had everything from like buy what the hell is it called? It doesn't matter. Buy stuff, put it in water, make your own. Or two, like, just fill one with dish soap. Like, that seems unnecessary and expensive. So
yeah, what is that gonna do to help?
like lowering the temperature of a freezing bag can make it retain more cold, which is good.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know, it just seems weird. So if people have good ideas, let me know. I want to hear them. Kythons are from the super edgy book most people hate. Well, that doesn't clear up anything. So more detail,
which
please.
one? I'm gonna roll.
Are they chain snakes?
Are we talking about 50 Shades of Grey? Is that what we're talking about?
Devil Tiefling Azura Spawn Archer Tactician using the Ranger kit from MCDM RPG.
I got nothing.
I'm a look. I haven't.
The only edgy book that I think people hate is Sword Coast something.
Not even that edgy.
Yeah, it's not that edgy. It's just
No.
racist as fuck.
Is it racist?
There were some issues with the original Sword Coast guide because it was a lot of like, I think I don't know, Asian stereotypes. I can't remember now. It's been a while.
I think you might be confusing some stuff.
I might be.
Maybe. The Sword Coast guide is just the, like, where Baldur's Gate is, and it didn't do that well as a little player guide in 5th edition.
You talking about Dark Sun? Is that what you're trying to say? Like, do people hate Dark Sun? It's
Like
just,
Dark Sun,
it's just fantasy Mad Max.
yeah. Minus the cars.
Okay, sorry. So the Sword Coast Adventure Guide had a lot of backlash to it, because there were no people of color in it.
Yeah.
That was the problem with it. So when they reprinted it, they added like more racial heritages and stuff to it. I'm seeing like homebrew Savage stuff. I'm not actually sure what this is. Alien monsters? It would be helpful if you just told me what it was instead of telling me to look it up. I'll put it that way. Because I am not finding anything. The Beast, welcome in. They're doing pretty good. We're currently working on a bear chef and a ranger of some kind.
Yeah, a devil tiefling, Juraspawn ranger something or other. Trying to see if there's any specifics I can get for the MCDM RPG, because they've talked about the ranger kit, but I don't have access to any of that because I didn't pay for any of that yet. So I'm just gonna have to make up ranger stuff. And I'm just gonna have to assume that it's like the traditional ranger.
Yeah, sorry, Klepto. I can't find what you're talking about, so not sure what that would be.
Hello?
Yep.
Hello?
Okay. Yeah. I looked at Kaisons. They just look like D&D version of Tyranids from 40k.
Ah.
Oh.
Well, if the dice gods let us roll and draw that one, we'll worry about it a little more then.
Yep. It's I don't know, that immediately makes me think Rykreen or Trox, because that's the Tyranids are the same as the Zerg from StarCraft, right?
Well, the other way around, but yes.
Oh, okay.
The Zerg are 100% just stolen from Warhammer. Because that's how Blizzard did things back in the day.
Mm.
Let's just steal everyone else's shit.
Yeah. It's called an Easter egg if we put it in our game. Nope, that's just theft.
Yep,
Appropriation? No, theft. Just theft.
It's just theft.
You take something whole cloth and not change anything about it. It's called stealing.
That being said, I don't think there had been a Warhammer RTS at that time. There might have been one now, but
Maybe, I'm not sure.
yeah. They very much did not make a Warhammer RTS like Blizzard did. They made their own thing, but they definitely took the visuals from very classical Warhammer things.
Mm-hmm.
How exactly do we get you guys to draw a character on stream? I had the idea I would like to see drawn on stream. So you can suggest it as long as it's following the rules, which are 1-sentence description of the character, no fan art, and no mimics. You can just put it here in the chat. I will add it to the list, and then if the dice gods demand that we draw it, we draw it. So we roll dice to see which ones we draw, and that's how they get picked.
It is truly a random system.
Would a werebear make a thin crust pizza or a deep dish pizza? That's the question.
That is a good question. I feel like how insatiable bears tend to be. I would lean towards deep dish pizza personally.
Can I share a little gross food trivia with you guys?
I'm afraid, but yes.
So I've worked at a Pizza Hut. I've worked at a Italian restaurant. I worked at 2 Italian restaurants that make different pizzas. So I've made a lot of pizzas in my life. That's where I'm getting at. And as a man who has a lot of hair on their arms, a bear trying to make pizza would be terrible. And like dough and like flour in the air and sweat, just it's awful and I hate it. So I cannot imagine that being fun. If you were a werebear, you would just be caked with flour and crap.
Oh yeah, yeah. Hairy creatures should not be bakers.
Yep. That's what I was trying to say about the dwarves making cakes and stuff. It's like I can see them not being good bakers just because like your beard gets everywhere. I know a couple guys that were bakers that had beards, and they would basically like triple hairnet their own beards.
Yep.
Shouldn't bake, and mermaids can't have forged weapons.
What were we listening to? That was
Yeah.
That was not 2,000 Leagues Under the Sea because there's no mermaids in that book. But I can't remember what we were listening to talking about that.
It's a good point though. Like logistically, there.
Yeah.
A lot of stuff becomes impossible logistically, depending on who's making stuff and what their environment's like.
Mm-hmm.
It's something I would have never thought of as a writer
Bow. That's gonna bother me now until I can remember what that was. I think it might have just been a random YouTube video. There's a guy that keeps popping up on my feed who is apparently much more popular than I am. Who just does lore about stuff for his shorts. Like, what's a mermaid? What's a minotaur? That's the one I saw this morning. What's a minotaur? I think that might have been what we were watching. It's hard for me to draw a werebear not just pissed off. Da-da-da-da. He needs like a pizza peel. He's got a plate here. Maybe a pizza cutter? That could work. What on earth was that? Oh, it's probably the thing. Were you talking about the you might be a guy? No. I have to look it up. Merfolk. I do like that concept though, of just like merfolk can't use forges, but like, all that does is shift them from like metal crafts to like flint mapping and stuff. Because like you can still find interesting rocks and things underwater. Use coral, bones, shells.
Yeah.
That would all be really cool.
You could use a marlin.
Yeah. I also like the concept that they might like come out of the water just to forge things. So you would find like a small island with some merfolk just like banging away on a sword. Have a great day. Yeah, no problem, Klepto. Catch you later. I'd like a goblin with red berry eyes. So it's like a fruit goblin? Oops, what did I just do? Okay. I will put that on the list and we'll talk about it if it comes up. Once again, it pasted white. I don't know why it pasted white. I have no idea. Very weird. YouTube, what are you doing? You might be a D&D. No, not that guy. I don't know who that is. All right, I'm rolling some dice. Let's see what we got here. 13. A-S-A-R-I-S. Azarice? Azars? Gotta look it up.
You can take 15 off the list as well. Since that's what I'm working on.
Oh, from Mass Effect. Interesting. Are these plant people? I never fully understood what these people were. I did not play the Mass Effect games. I think we've talked about this before, though. Like, I loved KOTOR as a concept, but I hated playing the game. Just wanted more action. But it's the same reason I like skip Baldur's Gate 3's cutscenes. It's just like I want to see them once, and then I don't care. Boom, 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 boom. Mass Effect has a main character is a human, I'm pretty sure. I think he wears a spacesuit, right? Like he has to have he can't breathe in space, right? Like they do that amount of realism correct, I believe.
Yeah, I think so.
I just can't remember what Shepard's helmet looks like. Is where I was going with that. He's got a space helmet, right? That's what I was trying to say. There we go. Is there a Mass Effect RPG? I feel like there is. There's gotta be. Da-do-da-do-da. Uh-oh. Sad boy.
Uh-oh.
There's a Mass Effect RPG. Okay, cool. You happy boy? Nope, grumpy. He's too hot. I'm not sure what we're doing here, but I like that we're both drawing in blue.
Yeah. I chose blue because that was the first color of skin I saw in the Azura that I looked up.
Bapu, bapu. Looks like they have some tattoos going on here. I can't tell if these, like, are head barbels or, like, just tattoos or what. Something going on here. We need an alien race. What if they just look like people but without hair? Brilliant. Make them a little bit blue.
We'll take the Star Trek approach.
Yep. Give me the cheapest thing the makeup department can come up with. Do they have ears? I don't think they have ears. Are they robots? Is that what I'm looking at? Is that what's going on here? His eye is too low. Eye needs to be up here. I need to get more propane today. Propane and propane accessories. So safe the memes. Boo 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 boo. Boo 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 boo. How do faces do?
Don't ask me. I'm still carving mine out and having a hard time of it. Doesn't help that this tiefling variant is supposed to be androgynous.
I actually had a, maybe this is an insensitive question, but it is a question that I would like answered. How does one draw an androgynous character? And I mean that from a...
Yeah.
Because theoretically... Well, was your... Sorry, no, I take that back. I was reading earlier, one of the character suggestions, which might be this one, said that they were non-binary. That's what it was. So is androgynous and non-binary the same in aspects of drawing them? That's more of my question. Because like
yeah, I'm going to assume probably because like non-binary is a sexual identity, right? But androgynous is an aesthetic preference.
Okay, yeah, because that's more of where I was getting at. Because like if you told me to draw an androgynous character, like that's easy enough. You don't focus on making them masculine or feminine. You just draw them kind of.
Somewhere in between aspects of both.
Yeah, but when you say non-binary, that's really my question. I'm sorry if I confuse people because I was thinking about that earlier today. Like, what would you draw to depict that a character is non-binary? Because that is something that I've not thought about as a visual artistic thing to do. You know.
Yeah, that is the difficulty with that is that non-binary doesn't come with any actual.
Right. Because you could still be very feminine or very, very masculine and be non-binary. Like I don't think that's a good visual descriptor.
Absolutely. One of my good friends is non-binary, and they present as slightly on the masculine side of punk if I was describing their style, the way they present themselves, I honestly have a difficult time not calling them he. And I usually feel kind of shitty about that, but they're very kind of understanding, which I appreciate. Anyway, the long and short of it is, it's hard to tell. There's no established kind of cultural precedent for it yet because it has not been allowed to be developed culturally. Before about, I don't know, 10 years ago.
Yeah. Yeah, sorry if that was your suggestion or I mixed up the suggestions. Not a coat. Not a coat. Spacesuit. Not a coat. It's a spacesuit. Now I want to learn more about these things because I'm not sure what I'm drawing. Is it a robot? Is it a plant? It reminds me of the plant lady from Farscape. Which I always thought was really cool. Bam bam. Da 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 da.
Uh-oh, come on.
What happened?
Come on, Aggie, don't explode on me.
Uh-oh.
Nope, okay, I'm back.
So what's everybody's plan for the week? Any fun D&D games? I might get to finish up the Kevin the Necromancer's campaign. That could be fun.
That's cool. I've got one more map to draw for our game.
Nice. That was pretty fun. I had fun on Saturday.
Good.
You were talking about like environmental storytelling, and I wanted to talk to you a little bit about that.
Yeah.
Not like I don't have critiques or anything. I just want to talk about it.
Yeah.
So you were saying like you're trying to add environmental storytelling with Dark Souls, and the thing about Dark Souls environmental storytelling is twofold. I think one is just visual cues as you walk around, and then the other one is like hidden within items you find. And so their environmental storytelling I think is okay, but because it's hidden behind like chunks of lore that you have to kind of scrounge for, I don't really think it's that. I don't want to say it's bad, but it's not as
It's not
good environmental storytelling.
Yeah, it's not what I would call compelling or accessible.
Yeah, and I think that for me, when I say it's bad, environmental storytelling should be highly accessible. Like you should get the whole story just from kind of looking around, and then have things like logs and character narrative as supplemental, right? Like you should be able to figure out what's going on just by looking. And so with Dark Souls, it's a little weird because sometimes you can look at something and be like, oh man, there was a fight here, right? Like you can read that kind of stuff. That's great. But like you don't get the overall lore of the land just by seeing a bunch of dead giants like frozen in place. You're like, what's happening here? What is this? What are you showing me? I don't get it. So
yeah, I tend to agree. And when I mentioned what the environmental storytelling I was trying to do, I only brought up Dark Souls or Souls-like games specifically because it was kind of the closest example of what I was trying to do. I also had a really good time on our game Saturday. That game is, I think, the most like what I try to make my in-person games like that we've managed to get so far in our Saturday game. So I felt great because I was right in my wheelhouse, and I was like, you guys seemed like you were engaged with everything that was happening, which is the most important thing, right? Make sure that the players are actually having fun, and you basically got to slowly reveal and interact with this section of the world that I had made, and like not intellectually understand more of my world and the way it worked, but like experience emotionally more of the world and how it worked. So
because like another example of what I'm thinking about is like good environmental storytelling is like cave murals explaining to a player that this door they're about to go through is a prison for a creature, right? Like that's good environment. It's like somebody locked this here. Don't go through this door. And they're like, we're going to do it anyways. It's like, that's fine. You know what to expect, or at least you have an idea of what to expect. Versus like, I think what you were building, you've built a good, like a good complex system or like an ecosystem for this dungeon, which I think is good. And so you have these layers of like creatures that are predating on other creatures and like, which is great because I feel like there is this step in D&D where you basically just have to fight everything. It's like, and we just got to clear out everything. It's like, there's a lot of things that live in this dungeon that probably don't give a shit about you. Like there's no reason to kill these things. I like that. I really do like that. But I am still very confused about like what this place is. And you talk, which we just might not be there yet because you're talking about like rifts and cracks in space-time or whatever the hell we're doing, the different planes. But I haven't quite figured out actually what the story is going on here. So that could just be a thing we have to get to.
It is a thing you have to get to. We're not at the bottom of the dungeon yet, so you can't have everything figured out before then.
Yeah. Yeah, I think environmental storytelling in D&D can be a lot of fun. Yeah. And like I like the concept you were going with Trying like, oh, here's a potion that, like, why is this here? And then we can kind of
Yep.
figure out why it's there. That's good. Those are good
Yeah,
nods.
For chat, there was a potion one of the players found in a skeleton that had been eaten by a roper, and when the potion was identified, it was a drug which Pathfinder actually plays with. It was a potion. Oh, I forget what it is. Anyway, it's supposed to make a creature more easily influenced. And I had explained it to Rook and
Fantasy
Jump.
roofie.
Yeah,
I
pretty
don't
much.
like it.
It's terrible. It's absolutely terrible. But I had explained it to Rook and Jump Rope that after the fact that you guys didn't get to see this because you opted not to explore that part of the cave. Earlier there'd been a bunch of in Pathfinder now they're called Algolfu, but they're aboleths. And in Pathfinder, aboleths have always kind of been, in my opinion, cooler than they were in 5e. In Pathfinder, and I'm going to assume in earlier editions as well, they kind of are more like 5e's Krakens, in that they're like they do a lot of
Like space
experimentation.
krakens, right?
Yeah, pretty much. They do a lot of experimentation and body modification. They come in a couple of different shapes and higher levels, and they are like they're like eldritch horror slavers, kind of, which is a horrible thing IRL, but is a fun thing to play with mechanically, especially when literally. It was every single person in your party, wasn't it, who's very specifically had a problem with anything that takes away other creatures' agency.
Yeah, I'm a freedom paladin or freedom champion.
Yeah. And Nemi, who's like legit evil, is a witch who's all about contracts, and very much against people being forced into contracts. Like, she is all about revenge and retribution and people getting to make the choice.
Which I think is
anyway.
another good example of like how can a lawful good and a lawful evil person be in the same party?
Yeah,
It's like,
yeah.
I cannot like the fact that Nemi is trying to make contracts with people, but it's their choice to do so. So as long as Nemi is doing it in a way that is above board, I don't have the right to tell people not to take the contract, right?
Yeah,
So.
absolutely. And it has worked out that way so far.
Yep, so far.
Yeah. Anyway, so the environmental storytelling is that the grung that the party had to deal with in droves, like the party tried to influence them, but in order to switch sides, because they were very clearly being compelled by the Aboleth masters, right? But they never responded, and part of the lore that like Easter egg wasn't really important to the storytelling, but Easter egg to expand the world, if anybody got to that point, is the head Aboleth was supposed to be a mage and an alchemist. And they're the one who was producing the drug, and they used that to help subjugate creatures under themselves, even when they might resist. And that's why the bottle of drugs was found.
Makes sense. Doing good, kiddo?
Yeah.
Don't do good. Can't.
Don't do drugs.
No.
Don't do drugs. Don't
do
give drugs to people.
Nope. Don't give drugs to the witch who is all about forming contracts.
Yeah. We might have
The
words.
lawful evil witch.
We'll find
Yep.
out.
We shall see how that works out. Anyway, yeah, that's the kind of what I meant by environmental storytelling.
Sure.
I just wanted to have fun and create enough background flavor that if you guys find it, then cool, it's going to make the world feel more rich. And if you don't, then I haven't put enough thought into it that I actually feel bad. Sometimes that's a hard line to walk.
You can do it, kiddo. The child is getting to the point where they can kind of roll over, but not quite all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And they sometimes get very frustrated.
This worked 20 minutes ago. Why isn't it working for me now?
I'm on the floor! Help me! Alright, I think I'm done with this one. I'm going to move on to the next one. Blah, 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 blah.
I've discovered I can't draw, but I can paint, so I'm gonna be spending time on these, I think.
A wizened seeming changeling with the inventor kith from Changeling the Lost. I assume this is another Vampire the Masquerade thing. So I have no idea what.
Changeling the Lost.
Yeah, but I mean, like, it's in that zone, right?
Yeah.
Because of the naming
Sorry.
convention.
Yeah.
I have to type in all of these words.
Changeling the Lost. Inventor kit? Kith?
Yeah, I don't know what kith is either.
Kith
The
is-
wizen is one of the changeling seemings. Great. None of those words mean anything.
I think wizen just means like old.
Yeah. And if it's kit, not kith, then that's probably the MCDM RPG. Because my understanding is they don't really have classes. They have a kit you can buy, or your character basically can have outfitted.
Oh, man.
Yeah, it looks like wizen are supposed to kind of look like leprechauns or like gnomes.
Okay.
An inventor is an inventor.
These are super Fae inspired, though, is what I'm getting here.
Yeah, like super real world Fae. So like,
Yeah.
so take a stereotypical Scotsman, shrink them down to like a foot tall.
Bum, ba, bum, ba, 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 ba,
Make him knobbly and too hairy.
Okie dokie.
The description for wizen is wizen have lost something of themselves to the Fae, reduced in body and or mind, made smaller than they were. And they have turned bitter and spiteful, and have a withered appearance.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So
Like, get off
like a
my
gnome
lawn,
/
holding
red
a-
cap.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Decrepit. No.
I'm gonna get my hat. It is 12 o'clock. I probably need to take a quick break. What should I do for lunch today? I have hot dogs. I could make more hot dogs. Cook them on the grill. I don't have to cook inside.
Anything to keep the heat out of the house.
Yeah. I've invented this thing called a soda stream. It makes fuzzy bubble water. What you do is you take a pixie and you lock it in a cage and you shake it up. Guilt-free fuzzy water.
Totally natural, 100% organic. No harsh alchemical ingredients.
100% mummy water.
Ugh. That sounds like a thing that actually happened in
Oh,
Britain.
100, yeah. You boil it? Boil the mummy tea? Gross. How can you eat people without eating people? I don't eat people jerky.
Wasn't there a the cholera? There was some disease outbreak that happened because of brown paper made out of mummies
I have no idea.
that they wrapped food in.
Why was anything made out of mummies? That's the biggest.
Because they had so many.
I mean, I was gonna say something else, but I was gonna say that'd be like pulling people out of coffins and doing something with the body, and then I remembered that like that's what an ossuary is. So. When in doubt, build a church out of skulls.
Ugh.
Which part of that disturbed you the most?
I read the thing that Corvus just posted. It's called mummia, which was medicine made out of mummies, sometimes from pitch pulled out of the mummies or like distilled from the mummies, sometimes just from grinding them up and powdered form.
You
I'm
know,
sure it was just as effective as rhino horn. History's weird. And people are stupid.
history's weird and people are stupid. That's a pretty good. Pretty good way to look at life.
It's maybe a little bit more jaded than I would like to be, but
It makes my hat pointy.
yeah.
Oliver, welcome in. Ah, but have you seen one of these? something I watched the other day that I wanted to talk about. I can't remember what it was. Originally it was medicine. Oh, yeah. Thought mummy was made out of actual mummies. Oh, okay. That makes more sense. That makes more sense. Oops, named it the same thing. Let me go get some more ice, and I'll be right back.
Sounds good. I'll be here because I'm afraid of losing momentum.
Fair enough. Fair enough. I won't be gone for too long.
So I watched a thing about basically, and tell me if you've got any thoughts on this, Corvus. I watched a thing talking about the latest quote unquote D&D scandal, which was mostly just people being outraged that WotC is doing like an EA level pre-order program. Has anybody else for the new edition of D&D?
I've not heard anything about that, to be honest.
Anybody in chat heard about that or got thoughts? They're basically doing if I understand correctly, and somebody correct me if I am wrong, please. I believe they're doing or they've rolled out a plan to do tiered pre-orders. And divided up all of the ways in which you can buy the stuff. So basically you have to buy the game or the books separate from a digital copy of the book, and all of the different publications are sold separately, and and D&D Beyond is a separate subscription, and so they've got this like big tier package or tiered packages and like reward stuff. It looks very much like corporate greed bullshit, but it's not really. I'm not shocked about it, and it's not. I don't think it's as bad of a scandal as it was made out to be in the video I watched.
What did I miss?
I was just talking about D&D or WotC Hasbro released they announced how they're going to be having people buy the new publications of books, and it looks very much like a AAA video game company cash grab. So it's like tiered pre-order systems with all the different publications sold separately, including their different formats sold separately. So you have to buy a physical copy and a PDF separately, basically.
I mean, that's how it's always been so far.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, for the full bonus, or not bonus, but for like the full bundle, it's like $179.99, and it's like, I'm saying that as a steal or anything, but considering how expensive RPG books are getting these days,
Yeah.
and you're getting like 6 books, so
I assume they're doing something like a battle pass. Is that what you're saying? So like you pay for that, and then you get all the books that come out that year or something.
I think so, yeah.
I don't know if I'm seeing that.
That's what the book, or no, that's what the video I watched claimed, and I'm curious about how people have reacted to it, because a lot of it felt to me like it was just more rage baiting against WotC, which, I mean,
Yeah.
like, I'm done with WotC for sure. They're Hasbro's just too scummy of an overcompany for me to deal with them anymore, but like, I'm curious, like, I bring it up specifically because I'm curious if people think that the rage tubers who cover the TTRPG scandals are beyond the point where they're legit covering the news and are now like fishing for stuff to keep their channels going, or is this genuinely a bad thing?
Gotcha. B says I've heard that too, but I'm not sure about the details. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. Here's the thing. Like, I think if they were smart, what they would do is they would keep D&D Beyond the way D&D Beyond is going. Except when you buy into D&D Beyond, you should get access to all the books. Like, if you're paying a monthly subscription to have access to these things, just give them all of it. Like, that's it, 100%. And then if you want to sell the PDFs and sell the books separately, you can, because then people can have them for themselves elsewhere. So if they did kind of what you're saying, like with a battle pass, of like you pay $120 and you get all the books we give out, like you can use them, whatever. That doesn't incentivize them to make lots of content, unless it was like a reoccurring thing, which is what a battle pass usually is. It's like $10 a month, but you get all the new releases, and I think that would be fine. I think that'd be great, but you don't own anything, and I think that kind of sucks too. So they definitely, I think those are the two different markets that people are concerned about. And I would be okay with either of those options. So, I don't know.
Yeah, I'm seeing stuff about like exclusive digital rewards. But like, from what that seems, is just like dice.
Yeah.
And like, for D&D Beyond, and like a couple of like a 5th edition or a 30th, Lord. A 50th anniversary Golden Dragon digital mini that you can use in your virtual tabletop. I was like, okay.
So if it's a lot more microtransaction and scrubby, I could see that being making people upset. But at the same time, if they're doing everything on a digital, like that's how Roll20 and that's how Foundry makes money right now, right? They have it.
Yeah.
They did the smart thing of building a free platform for people to use. I guess Foundry isn't necessarily free, but once you buy it, then people can use it for free, which I think is really smart. So,
Yeah.
And then they make their money by letting people license things through their thing. I don't think D&D Beyond will do that, and that's going to be the biggest thing, is if you can only buy content for their shit and you're stuck using it, then yeah, it's just garbage. But if they open up like a public marketplace where people can give away stuff for free, like from Patreon members, or just sell it, that's going to be really powerful.
Yeah.
Because, well, I say that. It could be really powerful. Hasbro and WotC have not had a good track record for making good digital content. Like,
Yep.
yeah.
Well, neither has Paizo, for being honest.
Yeah, Paizo also not good. They just... I almost have the same amount of subscribers that Paizo does on YouTube. And I was like,
not even have more.
How does that happen? And I looked at it, and they released a new video this weekend, and it was... I'm sorry for the guys that work at Paizo. It felt like a high school project. Like, it was not well put together. It felt like it was made in Windows Movie Maker. It's just like, what is this? Like, what is going on here? And I was like, okay, I don't feel so bad now that I'm catching up to them slowly. Like, their digital presence is bad. It's just not great.
Hey, Paizo, if you want to compete with WotC, do better.
I mean, just I think a part of it is
some amount of effort.
Yeah, like the
Give
assumption.
me some amount of effort.
The assumption is, like, oh, we need to hire someone to do like our digital marketing, and it's like, no, you need to hire a team that just produces content for you. Like, that's really what you need. Like, you need to have people running games. You need to have people like casually going through the books. Like, I think was it all D&D? Is that the channel? This basically just doing tons of stuff with D&D now. All things D&D.
I don't know.
I can't remember. There was a pretty good YouTuber that WotC essentially made the spokesperson for them, and he starts interviewing Chris Perkins and stuff. And like, that was huge, but he was good at that, and WotC hired him, right? Like, that's what WotC is good at, is like eating things. Anything they've tried to make themselves has just been hot garbage. And I think Paizo hasn't quite figured that out yet. Of like, I think they did a good job of being like, oh hey, cool, yeah, let's link up with Foundry. And it's like, yeah, that's a smart idea. Like, the content that they produce for Foundry is really good. Like, the tokens look great, everything works really well. Getting them is a pain in the ass. Trying to pay for them is a pain in the ass. So it's like, it's very much WotC's not, or Paizo's not yet seeing the things they're missing. I think they're just, that's what they're thinking. Like, they're not realizing like, oh, these guys are good, we should let them do that. They're just like, yeah, we don't need to do that. It's like, you should. You really, really should.
You should, yeah.
So,
Like, they do so little, like, live plays or let's plays of their stuff, and they only do it on Twitch.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Twitch is not a sustainable market.
No.
And also, like, 100% agree with you, but even more than that, the most of the stuff that the let's plays that are done in Pathfinder, like Paizo does not have any actual, like, official partnership with those channels. Like, I watch Narrative Declaration, and they do mostly Paizo stuff, and they've got a Paizo developer in there, and like, they mention that what they're playing, but beyond that, as far as I can tell, there's zero connection.
Yeah.
Oh, well, there are, like, official, like one-shots that developers will do on Twitch, and only during certain times. It's like where, like, veterans of Paizo get together and will do like a one-shot or something like that on Twitch, and just like no one sticks around to watch them.
Yeah.
D&D Session Battle Pass is what Monsters is saying. You can jump levels by paying your DM, and they then pay WotC 70%.
I think that's a joke.
Oh, okay.
I hope it's true.
Misinformation. Here we go.
Yeah.
A fiend warlock who was raised by a lesser devil started off as a human, but slowly becoming a tiefling. A half-living tiefling. I might just be drawing Hellboy stuff for the rest of the day. We'll find out.
Yeah. Nothing wrong with that. Except that I suppose that it's technically fan art and therefore against the channel rules.
Can I do a Baldur's Gate hot take?
I'm happy to listen.
Sure.
I don't like Will's design.
When he gets horns?
Yeah.
Or before horns?
With horns, yeah. Like, it just feels weird, and then it's so much going on. There's so much going on with it, and I don't know if that's like supposed to be intentional, or if someone's like, that's really super fucking cool, because I just don't like it. I just don't like it. Is that just me? Is that a hot take, or is that normal?
I don't know.
Yeah. I still feel like that's just an opinion you have, not even hot or cold.
Based on how little fan art I have seen of Will as a character, I have a feeling you're not alone.
I feel like everybody.
I think it's just...
Go ahead.
Go ahead. I was just gonna say that the writing team dropped the ball on Will. Like, I feel like they legit forgot about Will until the third act, and so they kind of crammed all his stories into the third act, so you really don't have like any time to like grow to like either like or dislike him.
It's actually funny that you say that, because the first time I played that game with some of my friends, we were just kind of running through the game, and we got to the third act, and then Will showed up, and I'm like, who the fuck is this guy? Like, because they just kind of like talked to him to get him in the party, and then we got rid of him. Yeah, he doesn't really play much of a, like, we met him at the very beginning. I'm like, what? When? Like, fighting the goblins. And I was like, huh.
Yeah, he has probably the best like introduction. He has a very like cinematic, like he leaps down off a ledge and Eldritch bolts a goblin and stabs one. It's like pretty badass, but then it's just like they just forget about him. Because like, if you want like a nice, like unoffensive character, it's Will.
Yep.
And it's just like,
I did not think there were any.
So that's kind of what I'm like. Everybody, I was gonna be kind of crass about it and say everybody's horny for all of these characters in this game, but like,
I mean, there's definitely people horny for Will.
oh yeah, 100%.
It's just not as many as like Karlak.
That's why I thought it would be a
Justinian.
hot take. I'm worried that somebody would just be offended because I'm saying anything bad about Will. But
I feel like they'd be more excited that someone on the internet actually talks about Will. Because compared to Druid, I do have much more of a social media life, and so I do see a fair amount of like Will fan art.
Yep. That's
Not even just like
fair.
sexy fan art, just
Just
art
fan
of Will.
of him. That's totally fair.
Also like the Tiefling Druid.
Thank you. It's turned out better than I thought, but I think I'm just about done with it. Just want to make the armor look a little bit more metallic. Pretty proud of it. It's taken me a while,
looking really
but yeah, as I said, I cannot draw today, but I seem to be able to paint, which is the complete inversion of my normal state of art. So I don't know, it is what it is. And I'll be grateful for what I have.
da, 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 da. I want a hoagie.
You want a bread roll.
Yeah. I want like a big ass sandwich. Sounds really good right now.
The Jimmy John's. Or Penn Station.
Man, I don't know if I'll ever go to Jimmy John's again.
Did they screw you over?
They're really expensive here. Like,
Ah.
really, really expensive here. And,
Not good enough to justify it.
yeah, like, when I lived in Moscow, the options were Subway, and that was it. And it's
Yep.
like, so when Jimmy John's shows up, it's like, hell yeah, giant sandwich. But, like, I think I kind of got tricked into that being good. Like, when you compare it to Subway, it seems great. But now that it's like, oh, okay, I want that sandwich, but it's $30. It's like, no, I don't think so. I don't think so anymore. I went to Jersey Mike's and I was like, this is an okay sandwich, but also still kind of expensive. And I'm upset that it's like a $17 sandwich. But it's better than Jimmy John's. So it's like, I gotta rethink my sandwich my sandwich situation, which I could just go back to making my own. Like, that's not hard.
Considering you gotta watch your salt intake, it's probably smart.
Yeah, like, I mean, I can't really eat. Whenever I go to Jimmy John's or something, it's like, this is gonna be my lunch for 3 days, and I'm gonna pay for it.
Yep. Yep.
So-
Know that feeling.
Firehouse subs here is my go-to. I might have a Firehouse. I might have to try that out.
Almost forgot the eyebrows. There we go.
It was
This
really
probably-
funny. This is Baldur's Gate spoilers.
Yeah.
But we got to a point where this lady was like, if you don't help us, I'll kill Will. And we're like, we don't know who that is. And then we just killed him. And we were like, okay, moving on. And then the next time we came through, we're like, no, we got to help Will this time. And then we did. And then the lady showed up. We're like, let's just kill her. And as soon as we killed her, it's like, Will has been pulled back to the hells. And it's like, okay. it's like there's no winning here. There's no winning here. I don't know how to help Will. Baldur's Gate is a funny game.
Yeah. Who's the character who has to wore all of your magic items?
Shoot.
Doesn't matter.
The wizard.
My
the wizard.
my
no, I have his name. It's like right there on my brain.
My comment does not require you to actually know him.
Okay.
My comment is specifically that he's not hot enough to justify me losing my magic items.
At some point, you have so many magic items. I don't see it's being a problem. I've had a few friends on that note try to play that type of character, which is kind of interesting. Like where you have like this is way before the game came out, so we didn't really have a good baseline for what to do with it. And we played with a few different ideas of like you can absorb the item, but then you can use it for a little while, or how do you make it like really feel like a curse that you have to eat these items? Because there's almost always just extra magical items floating around in a D&D game. So I think Will was kind of not Will. What the hell is his name? Shoot. Another character I did not do anything with. I have to go. I'll come back in the stream. But have a great day. Yeah, thanks, Beast. Thanks for hanging out. I'll catch you later.
His name is Gale.
Gale, there we
Thank
go.
you, monstrous. Gale. Yeah. See, I understand that there's probably a surplus of magic items for them to have a character like Gale on the party, but I am a hardcore Skyrim hoarder.
Sure. Like, the idea for... That's true, yeah. I kind of meant to. Like, I just... As much as my friends tried to, like, blast through the game, I was like, I'm gonna take a minute and pick up everything.
Yep.
So by the time we got to the end of the game, like, oh, here's the best armor in the game. It costs 100,000 gold. I'm like, we only have 300,000, so I guess we'll buy 2 of them. They're like, what? It's like, yeah, nice.
Alright, I think I'm finally done with this. And I'm pretty happy. This is fairly androgynous. I think that's a success.
I am very, It might be getting late. It's only 12:40.
Yep.
It's shutting off. Guilty of this. I'm guilty of this. I would like to see more androgynous characters. Just kind of in general when it comes to like fantasy and stuff, but only because of the like hyper exaggeration of fantasy characters, and I mean that in both ways. Like you have like the Conans and you have like the Red Sonjas and stuff, where it's just like kind of hypersexualized, but also just like super masculine or super feminine. I kind of like seeing just regular ass people in fantasy situations.
Yeah.
So I like that from time to time. But what's I said, I'm very guilty of doing the like hyper stylization because I like it. It's fun.
Same.
It's super fun to draw people that way.
Muscles are so much fun to draw.
Yep.
So are super willowy characters. Okay. I took a long time on that one. How much gas do you have in the tank?
I think I can probably do one more.
Okay. Okay. We're done. Yeah, still D20. Ah, natural one. Cool. A formerly human steampunk warforged gunslinger.
How does that work out? We've talked a little bit about that, like turning people into robots and stuff. Like, could a warforged be a person? Because construct used to just be a tag. So like I don't have a problem with just saying like, oh yeah, well you're more robot now, so you get the construct vibe.
Yeah, I think it's much easier in Pathfinder because they've got the android.
Yeah, that's true.
And it's very easy to say android, take brain out of person, put in machine. But warforged are kind of a very specific thing. So
Right, that's fair.
If we're building within within specific D&D canon lore, then it's probably not really possible. But like, if we're gonna do rule of cool, let's play it by ear. It's just magic it differently, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Steampunk Warforged Gunslinger. Steampunk means copper. Okay. And I guess I'm also doing a reddish character like you.
Sorry, back.
You're good. Monstrosy says that technically that would be a cyborg.
Yeah.
An android who just gets pure machine design. Yeah, you're right.
I think I did Elden Ring DLC stuff. Nice. I don't know if I'm gonna play it. I had a lot of fun playing the 4-player co-op, which I might try to get into that, but I don't know. I got Final Fantasy, I got Helldivers, I got work. Just might not have time for more Elden Ring shenanigans. Haven't been able to play it at all. It's too bad. That arm is too low. I like to enjoy games like that blind, basically. Oh, gotcha. Got any plate ideas? Any suggestions for a plate for my new motorcycle? Like license plate? I think we talked about this a while ago, wasn't it? I think what I came up with was like found steed or something. I don't remember. Magic missile. Okay. Weird not getting the alerts. Oh, that's weird. That's what the Discord is for. Or if people started turning off the alerts because I'm releasing short contents every day. So I like Summon Steed is really funny. Or Phantom Steed. Roll D20, that could be funny. Level 9 magic missile. Fireball 66. Only got 6 characters to work with? Okay. Alright, we're gonna play some weird Wordle here. Level 6 Red Mage. Do you D&D? There you go. Done. Wait.
I went and added in the block.
I can suddenly draw.
Robots are fun.
Robots are fun. Come on, is this looking too, what's his name? The Marvel villain.
Ultron? No.
Voltron?
Ultron.
Yeah. Ultron.
Ultron looked like this because he's a skull made out of metal. Every time I go, oh, that's gonna look like Ultron. It's a skull. It's a fucking metal skull.
I am drawing a metal skull.
The thing that makes Ultron look like Ultron in reality is the weird teeth things they do on the inside of the jaw. Because he doesn't actually have a mouth. I mean,
Right,
Ultron
right.
does, but like the other robots don't. So. Don't worry about it. Just do what you want. Ultron was a good villain. I enjoyed the Ultron thing. I always liked it. Kind of looks like a dog muzzle.
Does it?
It's not a crotch rocket, so no.
I guess it kind of... Yeah, I guess it kind of does look like a dog muzzle. It was reading really ape-tastic there for a little bit.
I watched Congo the other day.
Yeah?
It's not a good movie.
No.
I just read the book and I was like, that book kind of sucked. I better watch the movie. It wasn't any better. Which is weird because, like, I like a lot of. I think that's Michael Crichton.
Yeah.
Yeah. Had Tim Curry in it. In a character that 1 wasn't in the book and 2 didn't need to be in the movie.
They needed a star, though. And none of the other characters would be good enough for Tim Curry.
I didn't realize that all the gorillas in that were people in costumes.
Really?
I mean, I didn't realize it until I watched the movie. I didn't know that was a thing.
Oh, yeah.
And then it was very apparent, but like. If your telecommunication lasers shoots a hole in the moon, it's gonna blow up your satellite. I'm just putting that out there.
Ugh, I hated the laser scene. I was like, that's okay. Now we are really pushing the boundaries of belief here.
It had Bruce Campbell in it, and he like dies in the first 3 minutes, and I was just like, but why? Why would you do this? You lost your powerhouse.
And your other powerhouse doesn't technically exist. In Curry. Yeah. It's a weird book and a bad movie.
Yep.
I kind of feel the same way about Sphere.
Sphere was a terrible movie, and I really like the book.
I for sure like the book much better
Yeah.
than the movie.
The movie just like they rushed. There was so much kind of like cognitive stuff in the book that was a lot of like contemplation that just I feel like they rushed way too fast and got rid of things and didn't let people like have time to really think about the ramifications of things in the movie. And it was still like a 3-hour-long movie, so it was like
I'm still pissed that they cast Queen Latifah as a character that did not exist in the book, and then like immediately killed her off. Like they literally created a disposable black character, and I'm so pissed about it.
in the grand scheme of things, not the only or worst thing they did in that movie. So
True. True, unfortunately. I wonder if I didn't like the book as much because I might have just. I think that I read Sphere right after I read Stranger in a Strange Land.
Something like
And
that.
I think Stranger in a Strange Land probably just turned me off to cerebral books for a bit.
Sure.
Uh-oh. Aggie's not responding. Come on.
Do I have another one in me? I don't know if I have another one in me.
That's okay.
I should have another one in me. Let's do one more. I'm dragging my feet. 8. Post-apocalyptic lich. Deliberately left vague. All right. Yeah, we can do that.
But Druid.
Uh-huh.
Stranger Things well, just a
Adjust your mic and try again, please.
Oh?
Yep.
Hello? Yep, there we go. Sorry,
I said
did not come through before.
it's fine. I said Stranger in Strangeland is also just generally not a great book.
It's not. It's.
But Richard Heinlein.
I know, it's super weird. I thought it was going to be good, and it was super weird, and I kind of enjoyed, like, the first quarter of it, and then, like, tolerated the rest of the first half, and then, like, got into the second half, and I was like, what the fuck is happening here? I can't. Give me something else.
Who's Richard Heinlein?
It just... Yeah, Heinlein is...
The name sounds familiar.
Well, he wrote Stranger Strangeland. I think a few of their books. I can't think of what they're called. But Stranger Strangeland is...
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
I
Wasn't
think.
sure if that was him or not. But yeah, weird kind of future society. Future as in like probably like late 90s.
Right.
Yeah, it's
That was something funny I was thinking about with the Terminator movies. Is like the first Terminator movie comes out, and by the time the second one came out, it was almost the time for Judgment Day to happen. And so, like,
Yeah.
that felt really good. And then the third one, they're like, so Judgment Day was supposed to happen 10 years ago. What the fuck do we do? And that's when they started, like, playing around with all the technology and the weird shit going on. But, I don't know.
Yeah, like it's like you have like corporations that became like mega churches and lots of second half kind of just devolves into psychic new age cult.
I thought it was something about cannibalism. What am I thinking of?
Cannibalism is involved in it.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Those-
Cannibal weirdly enough is involved.
The character that Stranger in a Strangeland follows is supposed to be like a weird shoe-in for the angel Gabriel, and he's born on Mars from Martian colonists.
Okay.
And raised by Martian aliens because the aliens destroyed the colony. I think it's really weird. And the end of the movie wraps up with Michael dying and being cooked in soup and given to the sex cult that followed and worshipped him in order to prevent the destruction of the world and usher in the second coming of Christ. It's
Huh.
so weird. And did not enjoy it.
Did you guys ever see Soylent Green?
No.
It ends.
It very much feels like it's in that vein.
It ends with Charlton Heston just being like carried out by a bunch of people with him yelling "Soylent Green is people." And that's it. That's how it ends. Like it nothing is resolved. It's not like it's so weird of the time, like to do that kind of stuff. This was way older than Stranger in a Strange Land, I think, but maybe not. It might have been written around the same time. But just like the concept of like, hey, the world is dystopian and fucked, and that's it. And you're like, I need resolution, please. And they're like, no, it just is that way.
Yep.
So like, I don't know. I feel like that's kind of the vibe.
No,
But I mean,
yeah,
like,
for
I guess
sure.
like with the Mad Max movies, it's the same thing, right? It's like it's not supposed to be. It's kind of seeing people triumphing over a horrible environment, but like the world doesn't get fixed, right? Like it's not gonna get any better. It's just
Yeah, it's not really a story. It's like a pastiche showing what the world is like
a vignette of what would happen if.
Which can be cool, and I think I don't know, certainly paved the way, the way for that kind of story being told was certainly paved by what was the show?
Twilight Zone?
Yeah, Twilight Zone.
Yeah.
And I'm not opposed to us to authors exploring those kinds of ideas.
Sure.
The thing that's the weirdest about Stranger in a Strange Land is that it's considered a classic.
Yeah. It doesn't feel like a classic.
It doesn't. It's
super weird. It's kind of gross in a lot of places.
yeah. Let's
Made in the 60s.
yeah. Let's people are banning books with sexual themes. Let's make sure that one is no longer required reading in schools, please.
You had to read that in school?
No.
I was gonna say, I don't think. Southern Green came out years later. Okay.
Yeah. I did not have to read it for school, but it feels so similar to The Grapes of Wrath to me.
The movie was dumb. I loved it.
Yeah.
It's made of people. Okay, I need to make this lich post-apocalyptic, and I don't know how to do that.
Yep.
Because does that just mean like car parts? Does that mean
Built like a fucking motorcycle, literally.
just robots, just robot parts?
Yeah, I have no idea.
You know what? I love the idea that Game of Thrones is actually post-apocalyptic. I love that concept so much. So like the White Walkers are just the weird radiation zombies. A Transformer Lich. I could Mad Max him. It's an option. Because I mean, the thing that kind of drives me crazy, there's this theory of humans have done irreparable damage to the Earth, right? Like to the point, not that like the Earth is doomed or anything, but if something catastrophic happens and civilization is destroyed, there is not enough resources to rebuild back to the level of technology that we have today, right? Like we couldn't go through another industrial revolution. because we've already we've burned up all the easy coal, essentially, like things like that,
Yeah,
and like mined all the easy gold and lithium and stuff. And so part of me wants to say when it comes to like low to mid-level technology, like medieval era, makes sense regardless of where you're at, because there's also enough garbage that you could just find metal and turn it into armor, right? So that's fine. Even if post-apocalyptic, I think you could still have a very classical fantasy lich and not have any problems with it. Make things out of bones, make things out of metal. That's not going anywhere. But like, maybe no cell phones. Like the Fallout Brotherhood, who like goes and finds old technology. They have way too much technology for the amount of technology that they were trying to find. Which always drives me a little crazy. Which I think made a lot more sense in the original game when the game came out, because like the power armor was kind of just like, it's a nuclear powered tractor, and it's like, that doesn't really work, but fine, we'll just let it go. And then in the newest show, like they were talking about processors, and I'm like, it's a little much. I don't know. I think it's okay to have it be kind of dumb technology, like you could rebuild a combustion engine from lots of old parts.
But the circuit board, or a high-end circuit board, you're gonna have to do a lot more. It's a much bigger step.
Like there's the conversation about like, oh, Nokias, they were built like bricks. It's like, well, they were a lot less as technology advances. They were much simpler. Their boards were more robust than what we have to do today, because you have to make them more fragile the smaller you make something. So there is a level of like the Mad Maxing of just like taking a car that doesn't work anymore and turning it into armor makes total sense. But like, lumber to your family for a toaster.
Borderlands kind of feels that way a little bit too.
Yeah, like Borderlands is the same thing, because it's like, oh yeah, we have super quantum magic technology, but also no. It's like where's this coming from? If technology, or Aeon Flux is another good example of that, right? Like there are parts of the world that basically didn't get affected by the collapse, but most of the world is just a wasteland now. And it's like, cool, I dig that. I think that's fine. So when I think about post-apocalyptic lich, I kind of feel like that's where they would be, and it would just be like a cyber lich. But I don't know if that's where I want to go with it. Because, like, if this guy's been around forever, the world collapses, he's like, I've got time. I can just rebuild everything. Like, I have all the information. It's just a matter of what resources can I get. Fine weaved tapestry. Yeah, you can do that shit. Like, can you make carbon nanofibers? I don't know, maybe. Maybe you can. Borderlands isn't apocalyptic. It's outlanded planet fucked by corporate warfare.
Yeah,
wait, really?
But aesthetically it's similar. That if the only reason Borderlands is not post-apocalyptic is because the planet exists within a larger universe. That planet itself has been through at least 4 different apocalypses.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that wasn't on Earth.
Nope. It's on a small planet. That's actually one of the reasons why there is no fall damage, is because the planet is too small for humans to reach terminal velocity. It might not even be a planet. It might be a moon.
I guess my biggest argument here is if you said post-apocalyptic lich and like medieval lich, I don't know what the difference would be. I don't know if you'd be able to tell the difference. Why would the world ending affect a lich at all? Everybody died? That was kind of my plan anyways.
Okay, yeah, Monstrous is right. Pandora is a moon. He also says that it's slums, less post-apocalypse. I would argue that the fact that it is a defunct alien prison planet that hoards and imprisons and continues to imprison massive extraterrestrial alien creatures with horrible death magic that continuously seep out of their prisons and destroy things. I'm pretty sure it is post-apocalyptic. It can be both, I suppose, is what I'm saying.
As soon as you said Pandora, it's like, okay, I remember that. I guess I just never put it together. It feels very Mad Maxy, right? It's like
yeah, well, and it's supposed to,
yeah,
right? Like Mad Max is 100% like the largest inspiration. Yeah, certain factions do still get activated support from off-planet groups. Yeah, well, so do certain groups in Fallout, and it's still a post-apocalypse. So
I'm confused about what we're fighting about.
Doesn't change my point. Whether or not the Borderlands planet can, or the Borderlands' moon can qualify as post-apocalypse.
Borderlands apocalypse in media res. Okay. House of Fallout New Vegas is a lich. Right? Yep. Those who played DEF CON thought that the nuclear war was articles of dying. Okay. The apocalypse is currently occurring. I mean, that's like saying that like everybody's dying.
Yeah. From the moment you are born, you are actively dying.
Doesn't matter that the apocalypse is happening. It's just a matter of how much time we got left.
I'm pretty sure for every single psycho in that game, the apocalypse happened and they had to live through it, and now they're just surviving.
There's also the, like, when we talk about stuff like post-apocalyptic as a genre or as a theme, look at things like Bioshock. Bioshock is the same thing, right? The world still exists, but not in the context of the game you're playing. Like, same thing with this game, Portal.
Portal.
Portal is technically a post-apocalyptic. Because we have no idea. There was the fall of the company, and the company is the environment we're playing in, and so you're playing in there.
The apocalypse is certainly in progress happening for the companies that are invested in mining on Pandora. Anyway, it really doesn't matter. It really is all about perspective as to how you define the genres.
And it's aesthetic. It's an aesthetic thing that we're talking about specifically. So beyond the aesthetic term, nothing really matters.
Like, I personally don't like post-apocalyptic stuff, mainly because in my mind an apocalypse should be final.
Exactly.
There's no living past it. There's like, then it's not an apocalypse. Yeah. You just survived a calamity or a crisis.
Yep. That was kind of that's something I really liked about the Hellboy comics, is essentially the apocalypse is happening in real time in the comics, and they're just like, well, the gods woke up, the earth is fucked. What do we do now? That's what the comic is about. It's just like, it's just like, you're not going to fix the problem, but this is where we are now. So,
yeah.
I think part of it is like, maybe it's, the genre is essentially a post-apocalyptic wasteland. Like, that's really, I think, what people really think about. Like, they're forgetting the wasteland part. And so, that's kind of where the genre gets skewed.
Yeah, that is a good point. Good point against my argument.
No, I don't think
because I hear a lot of people talk about how Dark Sun is a post-apocalyptic world, and that's only true really for the people living in the crater of the main setting.
I thought I'm not trying to just disagree with you, because Dark Sun in my mind has always been post-apocalyptic, but like I thought the world was actively like slowly losing magic. Like the world is dying. You're on the
And-
tail end of the ember of the world slowly kind of dying out, losing
Yeah.
the battle to enter.
However, because the aesthetic of post-apocalyptic stuff really only exists, as far as we know, within the main kind of area that the story takes place in, which is a crater. Because when you look at maps of Dark Sun, there's like forest on the very outer edge, and that so it's like implies that there are other areas past where the main story takes place.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Yeah.
And so while I would argue it's not post-apocalyptic because the apocalypse is like happening in that context, where it's like the world is still dying very
Sure.
much, and it's just really bad in the starting area that the games take place in.
Yeah, and like that's kind of the thing with some of the Fallout games too. Like the vaults, even though like there's the whole they're kind of evil and fucked up and whatever else. Some of them were kind of successful. Like they did function. They saved people from the nuclear fallout. And like so that being said, like that's the thing. Like that. So we just choose to see the wasteland and the conflict in it, right? Like that's what makes a good story. So I don't think that's necessarily bad or inherently bad, but I do think that for a long time, especially with like after the Fallout 4 came out and stuff, like it very much became a lazy writing trope of, I don't want to have to write a world or a universe for my characters to be in. The world blew up, and now I get to write whatever I want. It's like, okay.
It's like
It
surely
was,
there
it
are
was that
places-
era's isekai.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's actually a really good way to look at it. Like, how are people getting isekai'd into a world that's kind of like ours but different? It's like, nuclear war happened. It's like, okay.
Because I feel like there will be like places in the Fallout universe that were just not hit. Because like there are places in the world where there's just like no one that lives there, basically.
Yeah, that's always something that's when we think about like calamitous events, right? A solar flare hits and like wipes out a whole bunch of banking data and power grids and stuff. A big chunk of the world wouldn't notice. Like just nothing would change for them. So yeah, there's a lot of little interesting things you can do with that kind of stuff. Not enough ghost liches out there.
Isn't that just a ghost? Sorry, I did not mean to instantly be pedantic about it. I'm
No,
sorry.
let me think about that. I meant more like liches that control armies of ghosts. But,
okay.
But I see where you're coming from. So yes.
I misunderstood where you were going.
Yeah, like a ghost lich is just a lich without its body back yet. 100%.
It's like ghosts generally also need some sort of object or location that ties them to
Right.
the physical world. So it's just like
All ghosts are liches, just not good ones.
unintentional liches.
Yeah.
Because
I really
Go ahead,
like
sorry.
I really like the Dresden concept of ghosts. And it's just like if someone of powerful enough magical persuasion, and it's not like a ton, it's just like if you have magical persuasion and you die, it's not that your soul exists, it's that you got blasted out of your body so fast that the magic hasn't figured it out yet. So you just kind of like you just keep existing as like it's like a magical echo. I kind of dig that. But that's kind of what lichdom is. Just like, I'm going to remove all of my magical presence from my body so that if my body gets destroyed, my magical presence is still there. And it's like, yeah, cool. Do that. Which always makes me wonder, like, how does the soul of a lich work, right? Like, Is it that the phylactery is holding that part of the soul tethered? Or is the soul just destroyed and you're now just, like, pure consciousness? Yeah. Semantics. Like, that's a philosophical question with no answer, so. Fun things to think about.
Or just...
We need to find definitions for every part of everything. And
Lich,
and
soul, phylactery. Yeah.
And none of it is real in a way that can be measured IRL, so it all has to be made up.
Yep. These are
I
not...
was just going to say, it depends on how you write souls in your universe.
Yeah. Yep. That's...
That immediately answers the question. So...
Yeah, I think it's more of a... Like, it's not something that there needs to be an answer for. It is a prompt for defining things, which I think is fun.
But kind of going back to the whole ghost and liches. So in Pathfinder,
Doing a rain dance.
there's a...
Oh, good luck with that. Good luck. I'm sorry, that did not... I was trying to hurry so Corvus could talk. Good luck with that. Let me know how it goes. Oh. The way I said that made it sound like I was like, pfft. That's not what I meant.
It's fine. I did not take it that way.
Well, no, I mean, Monster
sometimes-
said... Sorry. Returning to my travel routes, I'm doing a rain dance around a bonfire if anybody needs me. That sounds awesome. Let me know how it goes. I could use some rain. Go ahead, Corvus. Do what you're doing.
Yep.
That's it.
So in Pathfinder, there's this place called Geb, named after famous necromancer named Geb.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Geb's a sociopath, by the way.
And narcissism. Oh yeah, no one's doubting this.
Okay.
And I fully think that it was because he's still around, but as a ghost, I fully think it's fully unintentional that he's a ghost because he was a high-powered necromancer. Of course, he would rather be a lich than a ghost.
Sure.
So it's just like crap, I'm a ghost now.
So that's kind of the funny thing. I think we've talked about Geb before, and I think part of the
I occasionally bring him up.
yeah, part of the the shitty part, it was like the shitty thing that happened with Geb, is he refuses to show people how he became a lich. And so people keep like talking to him, be like, "Hey, can you show me how to do this?" And he fucks them over. He's like, "Yeah, do this, pull that lever." They're like, "Okay," and then they get like just evaporate. He's like, "Ha, suckers! No one but me gets to be a lich." But then he just evaporated the only person that could bring him back, and he's like, "Dang it!" So he's like trapped by his own pride, I guess, or his own arrogance. So he's just kind of stuck because no one will revive him because like, "Yeah, we don't trust you. You keep killing all of your followers."
Yeah.
So
because like he just fucks off in the plot of Pathfinder. So there's this other lich, like probably more powerful than Geb. He's like almost straight up a lich god called Tarbathon.
You can pause for 1 second. Sorry, Elizabeth. If you'd like to get your character drawn, you can put a prompt for it, a 1-sentence description in the chat, and then we'll add it to the list, and then we can. We might draw it on Friday because I think we're about done today. So
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Geb basically kidnaps the body of this dead saint of these undead hunting paladins who had the gall to attack him.
I like them already.
Revives her as a lich queen. Basically, like forces her to be queen of his country that he just doesn't want to do anymore because his frenemy Nex is gone because he just buggered off to another dimension.
Just got bored.
And just like you two are like the worst possible humans to ever exist.
I mean, to be fair, like any lich isn't going to be very like philanthropic, right? They're kind of self-centered.
Oh,
it's like, what if I could be immortal and just control the world? It's like, stop it.
But yeah, and then he ends up becoming a ghost, and he's like, crap. And then she finally manages to bugger off because Adventure Path Adventures help her get free, and so she's free of Geb and trying to get away from him.
Would a true AI be the closest thing to a lich we could get in our world right now? No, because an AI would be would still be a construct. Oh yeah, what Monster's saying would still be a construct. Yeah, Monsters got it right. What I was going to say. Uploading your consciousness would be lichdom. Yeah, and I think that's more what it would be. Because then the only side to that would be we currently don't have a way to reinvigorate your body, but technically as long as your consciousness is stored and can still exist in a mainframe somewhere, you could be re-uploaded to a new body at some point in time. So that goes into the whole Ghost in the Shell scenario, which I think is really good. Ghost in the Shell is a really, really good concept and like development of the world, but is very slow and long and drawn out. So hard to watch, but really good. Does the Lich have to be undead? Yes. So if you're not undead, you are not a Lich. You're just immortal. Like that's the difference. So Lichdom specifically, when we're talking about D&D Liches have two parts. One, something that anchors you to the world, so you have a phylactery, and then converting your essence into pure arcane magic. So the thing is that your magic self exists. Like you solidify and lock down yourself as a magical presence, so you no longer get thrown back into Druid. Into the loop, into the weave, into the magical thing, and then become a person again, right? So you break that off. So once you do that, you break this, you are now a magical entity. And there are in one of the new books that came out, they were talking about like the skull comets or lich comets. And what happens is a lich breaks themselves free of that, but then doesn't have this link to the physical world. And so they just fly around aimlessly in the ethereal sea as this magical thing, and there's nothing there. They can't do anything because they're just like, I guess I'm here now, right? So you need to anchor yourself to the material plane using either your body or your phylactery, whatever it is, and that way this magical body always has a way of interacting with the material plane. So even when you kill a lich, normally you're not actually killing them, you're just destroying their link to the material plane. And that's when you get people like Geb, who are now all of a sudden just like ghosties floating around, and they're like, I can't do anything, until you can find somebody that can see you, and you're like, hey, build me a new body, kill 100,000 people, and build me a Philosopher's Stone that I can possess, so I can come back to the material world and start again, right? That's where liches come from. So liches are inherently just not alive. Whether or not they're undead, they have to be dead at some point. Because otherwise you're just a really powerful person.
Intelligent undead.
Yeah. That being said, like a demigod is not a lich, because even though they're pure magic and are not attached to the material plane, they can influence the material plane themselves. Or at least can influence people on the material plane, which is kind of cool. So there's a couple different ways to look at it. So you're basically Voldemort. Yeah, Voldemort is a really shitty lich. Yeah, because 1, not that powerful. 2, made a whole bunch of phylacteries. 3, didn't hide them. Like, he's
enough.
Yeah, he's a shitty lich. Like, yeah. Now I have a character suggestion. A 1700 Sailor Lich anchor is literally anchor. Yeah, there's been a couple people that have talked about that. Like, why not just take your phylactery and like throw it in the ocean? It's like, because then a fish will eat it, and then when you respawn inside of a fish. Like, what was the other one? There's a YouTube channel that does really weird D&D animations, and I don't like their art style, and they're always a little like gross and crass. And one of the things he does is the barbarian eats the lich's phylactery, so that he just constantly consumes the lich as it regenerates. And I'm like, that's gross, but effective. Like, you could do that. You could throw a lich's phylactery in like a dragon. just leave it there. Forever just death. Awful and terrible.
Oh god.
Go ahead.
Yeah, Sauron from Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
You could consider him to be a lich.
I mean, he's kind of the basic. He's the archetype, right? He's the archetype for us talking about lichdom.
Yeah, exactly.
He was a god, right? That became kind of manifested on the material plane, and then they killed him.
Yep.
So he goes back to the ethereal plane as a ghost, and he's like, dang it, gets a whole bunch of people to try to revive him, becomes weird armor man, dies again, and then I'm thinking of Morgoth. Sorry,
Sauron,
Sauron is the one that tries to give him a body.
yeah.
Morgoth is destroyed somehow, and now Sauron's like, I'm gonna do that now, and the same kind of thing happens to him. So,
and that's what the ring is. The ring is
his phylactery,
Sauron's phylactery, and that's why Sauron dies when Frodo destroys the ring.
Yep, can no longer contain himself on the material plane.
Yeah.
He could have made his Horcrux a grain of sand. You are now falling into the "I'm smarter than every lich that's ever existed" trope, which is, yep, he could have done that. He could have taken the ring that he cursed and not left it in an empty house. That would have been smart, especially not somewhere that people would have known. He could have like not made it a tiny flimsy notebook. Like, there's all kinds of weird stuff you can do.
Yeah, you know, the point of Voldemort though is, and I think that, like, as much as I don't care for J.K. Rowling currently, I think she was smart about it. Like, the reason that Voldemort chose those objects, and she goes into great detail about that in the books, if I remember correctly, the reason he chose those objects is because they were meaningful to him. He wanted something that could contain him, and he needed his pride would not allow anything less than what he chose.
Right, and I think that was in the Harry Potter books. I think that was part of the system, right? Because whenever you were becoming a lich, you had to like split off part of your soul and put it in something that was important to you. And with Harry, it was unintentional because Lily did it, right? Like, she did the spell kind of unintentionally, and that's the whole game, right? That's the whole thing.
Yeah.
So I like that. I really like the way she did that, but Voldemort himself is just kind of a shitty lich because of what everything else that went on with that. So I'm gonna put it in a snake. That's a living creature. Maybe don't do that. Like, what's happening here? So you could do like a whole master class of like what would be the best lich object. A whole bunch of people have gone like, oh, I'm gonna make it an adamantine orb that just can't be destroyed and make it magical. And it's like, cool. Is there emotional attachment to the object actually a requirement for part of making the phylactery a Horcrux? In Harry Potter, it was, yeah. For the phylactery in D&D, I believe it has to be something that is inherently attached to you. But I also think that's just like a story point. Because, otherwise it would just be like, I'm going to make this adamantine ball that can't be destroyed, and I'm going to throw it into space where no one can ever find it, right? Like, which is just like, that's not a fun villain. That's a stupid villain.
No.
So
I also thought that in D&D it had to be an item that could become magical, but was not magical inherently already.
Right, and then
because
the process of doing it imbues it with magic,
you're basically enchanting it.
Yeah. Because it's the same thing with like cursed swords. Cursed swords are technically, like, some of them are phylacteries. They hold the soul of something. There are not axiom knights. They might be called axiom knights. That are essentially, whereas with lichdom you take something and make yourself immortal. What you do is you take adamantine armor, which looks really cool, and then you basically perform a mini ritual and turn it into a phylactery for an unwilling participant, and their soul is trapped in the armor. So when you destroy the armor, or like at least disperse the energy, they just regrow, and the armor is once again a functional trap, essentially. So like there's the premise of attaching something to an object, and then there's what a lich is, which is slightly different. So top 5 phylacteries, Yep. I think Arundel banished Morgoth to the void or something like that in the Silmarillion. Yeah, and that's kind of what I was saying. Like, he's not really dead, but Morgoth got kind of removed from the equation. Like, can no longer participate in the realms of Middle Earth and affect people. So like that's really all you're doing to Lich, because the energy is there.
yeah, lots of fun stuff you can do with that. Let's avoid living animals and creatures. Don't be the Voldemort guys. Yeah. Yeah. Harry Potter's another one of those things where, like, eventually if Harry Potter just got old or, like, died in the first book, problem solved.
Yep.
The book would have turned out the exact same way.
Yep.
So, kind of funny. All right, I think I'm about ready to call it there. It's 1:40.
Same. I'm done.
Thanks again for hanging out today, everybody. We should be back on Friday. I might have to leave a little early on Friday, so I'm probably going to stream a little early. Probably start at like 10. I'm going to try that. I'll have another short out tomorrow, and I really, really want to work on some more Why You Should Play series. If you guys want to see that, please go check out some of the old Why You Should Play videos. Let me know which ones are your favorites so I can kind of start seeing how people like, because I've done a couple, done some animated stuff, I've done some puppet stuff. I'm kind of in a weird flux right now because of all the YouTube shorts. I'm not really sure what the algorithm wants, and the last few Why You Should Play videos just haven't done well. So it's like, I don't know. Let me know in the comments. Like, just tell me whether you like things in videos or if you don't like things in videos. That's helpful to me. So, aside from that, check out the Patreon page. There's a lot of cool stuff we're adding, like tokens and the alike from the Sagas campaign or the Sagas books. I'll be working on that on Twitch tomorrow, and yeah, moving forward we'll be doing that too. So if you want those tokens, we want some stickers and stuff, go check out the Patreon page. There should be a link down below. Aside from that, stay happy, stay healthy, keep your dice on the table, and we will catch everybody next week. Let me see if there's anybody to raid, and we'll bounce out of here. Is anybody around? Nope. Okay. Thanks again, everybody. Bye. Stay cool.
Bye.